Coming back to where we left, what is lean UX? Lean and design of business. So we need to see, it's not, lean UX is not about just the design side of it. It's also how you approach the business itself.
Mm-hmm.
We are saying declare your assumptions, like initially what we said. So what are the assumptions you have when you have this product, what you're developing? So you have certain assumptions about your customers, okay, and you would have some assumptions about the market and whether people will accept this, and those things you need to identify much ahead. What assumptions do you have about your customers? That if proven false, you have certain assumptions, and if it's proven false, will cause you to fail,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you need to identify what are those. Right? In other words, what do you need to know in order to move forward successfully? So what do you need to know? So that is essential. You need to identify. So what is that? I'm in the right direction. Okay. What else now I should know as a next step so that I can move forward successfully? That's what is important. So declaring your assumptions are essential. So every decision you make about your offering is a design decision, right? A feature you're going to identify. So this is going to be a design that's going to be coming inside somewhere in your portal or application, wherever, right? So, but this every design decision that you want to add to your application is a hypothesis. Okay, so what I'm saying is that if I put this feature, okay, this is going to help solve certain things. Okay, so declare that assumption. Declare your assumptions and then you test them. Since you're saying, okay, your hypothesis, your assumption is that, okay, if I have this feature will help somebody to accomplish this task and it will help in, quicken the work, or whether it's going to solve the problem. If that is what is your assumption, and what you have to do is you have to test those assumptions, okay, and evaluate your results ruthlessly and be prepared to change course. And if you find that, what you have, the assumptions are, and assuming this problem, this design, what you're going to add, or the feature you're going to add is going to solve this problem, if and instead of assuming and developing it, test it early itself and be prepared to change course in case if that doesn't work. So these are the lean principles, lean UX methods, and lean UX cycle which you need to apply while developing it, right? So the 9 principles for lean teams is this: design plus business plus development is equal to one product team. So it is not just the, a product team is not about just the development team or the business team. So it is all these 3 essential things coming together. Plus it could be other things also. It could be customer care team. It could be, a testing team. Even if they need it, bring them in. But these are the 3 key things. Everybody together only forms a product team. And you need to externalize. What do we mean by externalize is that you have to take it out to the market, to the end users, to the, a business, and you need to uh, 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 share these assumptions and tests and experiments, and you'll test with the external users, not just internally deciding, right, within yourself, saying, okay, this one should work, this one doesn't work, maybe this one will is better than that. You shouldn't assume yourself. You should externalize instead of just within the team or just the designer, you yourself are assuming and developing certain things. It should be goal driven and outcome focused. So we have to see this is what the outcome we're expecting, whether this what we are putting together will help us to achieve this outcome or not. So is this what is the goal we are working towards? So you need to, each and every time we have to check against, what exactly we're trying to achieve, whether we are going the right direction. It has to be repeatable and routinized. You need to have a kind of a process in place, how you're going to regularly follow this kind of iterative way of optimizing or developing a product, so that in this product in this feature, so what exactly the typical steps will go. So every feature, this is how we're going to test it, and if this is the case, this is what we'll follow steps, and if this is not the case, we'll follow these steps. So you should have a routinized thing, so it will be a little bit of predictable, as well as you'll be able to plan it as well. research with users is the best source of information. Okay, so there are times actually where we will get stuck and we ourselves assume certain things. Okay, I think this is same as me, and even I'm a parent, and yeah, this is what is the solution which I follow, so that should be applicable for the rest of the users as well. So when you're getting stuck and you're not sure about it, and when you're just assuming things which without with substantial evidence, then what you have to do is that you have to go back to users and then do further research and then confirm the source of information, and also based on that you have to take the next step if you're getting stuck somewhere. Focus on solving the right problem. So there are if you take it, you can have everything you want to solve, but you have to focus on which are the key essential problem which has to be solved, instead of taking up everything and trying to solve, because some problems, some challenges are more important than the rest. So which are those, identifying them and solving those right problems is important, because the resources, the time, everything is important, so you have to spend on those essential ones. Generate many options and decide quickly what to pursue. So instead of with solution, when you're coming out to it, instead of just sticking to saying or just going with the first idea what comes in mind, you generate multiple options, and then from there you see how based on certain criteria which one you want to proceed with, and then you can test with those. Recognize the hypotheses and validate them. So you have to validate those ideas and hypotheses what you have, and which one is are the hypotheses. First recognize them and then validate them through experiments. So how do you do it? Rapid cycles. You think about certain things, you make something, you check it, and then you have to keep repeating those process until you get the right solution. So this is the lean principles which you need to follow, right?
Yeah.
And lean methods. So while you're trying to do these lean UX assumptions and then tests and validation, you have to keep it very lightweight. You shouldn't go and develop extensive thing and too much time spending it on making it perfect. That is not the idea. Okay, it could be a lightweight, okay, a simple, low fidelity is sufficient. Don't have to make it everything the best looking and everything perfect. No, low fidelity. You may test it with just with the paper and pen. You may have 2 3 options, and then scenarios created from one step to next step, so you can show to the user actually, or you can ask them to draw it as well. Say, okay, what would you click, and after clicking this, actually, where do you think you would be going to? Show a couple of options with the rough sketches, and then say, okay, you go to this or this or this. He will pick what exactly his expectation is, or let him say it and then you show him, this is the next step page. So if you click on this page, then what exactly you'll be looking for. So do a low fidelity prototypes and test with them. Low tech, like I said, prototype should be good enough. Don't have to have a high fidelity mock-up, and you need to use a mobile or web application. Not necessarily. Even it could be a simple paper prototype you can do. Low tech is good enough. And externalize it. Okay, don't do internally itself for your own colleagues and then get them and then try to use it and test it. Go as much as possible with externalize, instead of internal users, so that you can avoid uh, 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 not influences from designers themselves, right? So you should take it to the external users. Face to face and collaborative. Okay, as much as possible, go face to face and collaborate to talk to them, and so you can observe them, and also you can observe a lot more thing you can understand while you are speaking to them and then asking questions, right? So then you have to diverge, the solutions or the options what you're going to create diverge, and then you can converge, either based on the research work or as a group together. You can identify saying based on these things, so we converge to these specific options set out of the entire identified set. Do it very fast. Don't take too much time to do things, and make it repeatable. So it has to be a process oriented. So you keep it is something which everybody can do it, not necessarily only a designer can do it. These processes, so everybody should be able to believe that they can also test the same way and able to get the same solution. It should be routinized. Don't leave too many gaps and stuff. Make it in some clear-cut processes so that it can be routinely done for any project or every module that's getting developed. It should be goal-driven and it should be outcome-focused. So not output-focused. It should be outcome-focused. So by the end of the week, actually, you shouldn't just get a code out. It should be we have to make sure that the code, whatever is there, when it will meet the outcome. That's important. The lean UX cycle. So the lean UX cycle, in fact, right, the Eric Ries's lean startup, they have the cycle which is called build, measure, and learn. That is the cycle what they follow. And how lean UX cycle fits very well with the lean startup cycle is that, so in between the learn and build, so you need to develop ideas. So what you're going to test it and what will solve the problem. Okay, while building it, you have to see how the product is being built is very important. So you build in a product which is together as a team, bringing everybody together, and also outcome focused. And once it's built, you have to measure it. That measuring, okay, will give a data whether what you have identified, saying this is what is a success. It has to be successful by achieving these such goals. So you measure the data. So from the data you learn, and then whether you want to continue with the same direction or you have to pivot or you have to change the idea, or if it is working or not working, drop off and pick up some other solution which towards the solution, right? So what you're saying is that state your desired outcome. So we say when people come and then use this product and apply these features, it will actually should solve this problem. So that's the outcome expected. So state your desired outcome. What should be the outcome? Okay. And when I say, if I'm going to add this subscription, so I should have 500 people, subscribing to that. So if that is the desired outcome, state that. Declare your assumptions. So declaring your assumption, what we are declaring here, saying this user, okay, we feel, okay, has this problem, and for this problem, we are going to develop this feature. So using this feature, we assume that user would be able to, if we are going to provide this kind of solution, we assume people will sign up for this newsletter. So whatever assumptions you have declared, hypothesize, write the first test. So you have to write the test. Okay. So what is the test? Is that to see, to validating whether our assumptions are right or not. Make an MVP, minimum viable product, to test those assumptions. Get out of the building. You don't test it within your team and within your office. Get out of that building and go to the actual users and test them. Team synthesis. Okay, it's not necessarily, even the testing has to be done by just the designer or usability engineer. So team can go, in fact, that way you'll be able to cover more people and more experiences, different ideas and different thoughts can emerge when the entire team does the same thing. So two things happen. One is you'll be able to capture more information and more feedback and inputs, and also the team also will be able to learn about what we're trying to achieve, and everybody will be in the same page and repeat it more often and towards the right solution, right? So this is the lean UX cycle.
Okay.
So we talked about output focus versus outcome focused, right? So typically, right, in a development, what happens is that you start something and then you have a clear list of requirements, and which is captured as the as a use case, and then you would have identified for every sprints what use case to complete, and then you go ahead and then only testing the code, and straight away just go and then develop it. Instead, okay, if you're outcome focused, okay, the output that is coming out shouldn't be just the code. It should be a tested feature is what that comes out, and then you move on to the next one. The old way of thinking where you go this end to that and straight and then develop everything, and then you go and then launch it. In the new way of development, you have to develop something, test it, and then if it's working, it means then you go to the next one and then test it. Next one, you develop and test it. So developing and the testing, and then you have to make sure the outcome is what the out, you're focusing on each and every development, not just the output of the code. So by that way, what happens is that you wouldn't go too far and find out that nobody is using it, or this is not useful, this is not solving the problem. So you would have tested right here, small experiments, small features. For every feature you go test it, and then what happens is that actually you have a product which is actually less risk, and which is where it's able to achieve the outcome as well. Get me what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
So other thing what we learned is that reducing inventory risk and waste. Okay, so this is going to be big, you think, right? You think this is going to be big, okay? And you make a decision, okay? And you keep developing it entirely into when you continue to go for months and months and months. And finally, everything is, developed, and you go and then check it in the feedback in the market. And then you think no one clicked, right? So this is what typically happens. Instead, we have to see, instead of going for the months, within hours, how you can take it to the end user and then test it. So that way, you will be able to save time, okay? And you would have, wouldn't have risked so much of a time and so much of effort, and finally checking it later that it is not working and nobody clicked. So when you know in hours, when you're able to find out why nobody is clicking, then what you can do is that you can take the steps and corrective path, and you can experiment more and get it right. Instead, you yourself take a decision instead of taking early to the market and do everything, and end of it actually you find it, and again after that you won't be able to recover at all at times. So unless you have extra time to work on it to fix it, or if you have resources and the money, you will not even go to recover. So this is where this kind of a decision you make decision without taking to the market, and you will end up like this. So instead, move from months, make it to hours, and then do a quick experimentations and get it right here, so that there won't be any surprises, and you will be reducing inventory risk and waste. So when we say reduce inventory, you would focus on the key things actually, so that you won't develop all the things that is needed. So even the one that you're developing, with minimal time, you're going to test it, and you're going to test it and do that in hours instead of months. So that will help you to focus, get a better um, outcome. So now we are going to do this lean UX canvas exercise. So from where we can learn how to validate an idea using this LeanUX canvas, and how to develop hypotheses as well, right?
Yeah.
Goal of LeanUX canvas: help in moving from doubt to certainty. That's what is the goal. So instead of uh, launching products and services to the entire target segment, okay, first you have to nail it to see what get the solution right, okay, maybe even with a small audience or test audience. Once that is done, then you can scale it. So how exactly you go about is that you develop hypothesis statement. Okay, hypothesis statement. What is hypothesis statement? So what we are doing is that every feature what we develop, right? So we believe that doing this, okay, doing this for these people will achieve this outcome, right? So every feature what you put in is for specific reason, okay? So we believe one XYZ feature for these people, for a 40 years old person will achieve this outcome. So this is what we believe. We will know this is true. Okay, we are also identifying what is the key performance indicator through which we will know. We will know this is true when we see this market feedback, right? So this is what is the uh, for which we are going to do the test. So we believe that we will know this is true. So we will know this is true when we see qualitative outcome and or quantitative outcome that proves this KPI. So you need to identify the KPI. So you are building, like one example we gave, a subscription of somebody is subscribing to get the newsletter. So if we get 100 people signing up for the subscription, then we will know that this feature or this content what we have used, okay, is useful, and that's why people are wanted to learn more about it on regular basis, so they're subscribing. So you, whatever the KPI is, you need to identify upfront here. So that's what how you write a hypothesis statement. So that hypothesis statement is not about for the entire solution. For each and every feature, you write that, so that you evaluate whether that feature has to be developed or whether it's doing the purpose or not. So this is the LeanUX canvas. Like I said, this one is developed by Jeff Patton's opportunity canvas, which is adopted by Jeff Gothel. Right? So you can see it in the bottom. So you can go and then check out Jeff Gothel's website and blogs also, where you can learn more about these concepts. Okay. So now, how do you utilize this LeanUX canvas? So what is this LeanUX canvas? So, like it says, right, it gives a step-by-step of how you should proceed. So first one, you write the business problem. So it says one, right? So you have to see what business have you identified that needs help. So whichever business you are in, so you identify, you write the problem statement, which you're trying to solve for this users. And next one, what you do is that business outcomes. What is the business outcome? Changes in customer behavior. What changes in customer behavior will indicate you have solved a real problem in a way that adds value to your customers. So you have a list of, if you have a list of business problems, you would say, okay, if these people, you have solved this, means what exactly people should be doing, so that what customer change in customer behavior is expected. So that's what you list here. And then number three is that users and customers. What type of users and customers should you focus on first? So you're identifying the target segment here. And four is user benefits. What are the goals your users are trying to achieve? What is motivating them to seek out your solution? You need to enter this. Okay. So detailing out further is the same thing. So user benefits you list here, and solution ideas. I'm going to give how we are going to approach is that we have a case studies which with details about what exactly goes, and so for you to get a better picture, which you can apply it in your own ideas and products as well. And finally, once you listed down the solution ideas, what are solution ideas, features, it could be list of products or features or enhancement ideas that help your target audience achieve the benefits they are seeking. So this is what you list down the solution ideas, what you have. Once you identify 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, now you start writing the hypotheses. Okay. So like I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, once you identify these things, right? Products and features that will help the persona to satisfy their needs. You develop hypotheses by combining the steps above for each of the feature identified. So you need to combine 1, okay, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 4 things you combine, and then you write a hypothesis. So what you will do is that we believe that business outcome, okay? So we believe that business outcome will be achieved if user attains this benefit with this feature. each hypothesis should focus on one feature. So in this case, like I said, right? So this is the hypothesis. This is where you list down the different hypotheses. It says, okay, each hypothesis should focus on one feature. So you have about, assuming you listed down solution ideas, about 1 dozen different solution ideas you've identified. What you should do is that for each of those feature, you should write one hypothesis, because each feature is there to solve a specific problem, and you have to ensure what problem it's solving. So combine the assumptions of 2, 3, 4, 5. And once you've identified that, you have to say what's the most important thing we need to learn first. So you have 1 dozen features or more of hypotheses you have. From that 1 dozen feature hypotheses, you need to shortlist, saying which, for each hypothesis, identify the riskiest assumption. This is the assumption that will cause your entire idea to fail if it's wrong. Okay, so let's get on to a example. And before that, like I said, once you identify these risks, you need to identify the risk, which is the most riskiest one. And for those riskiest assumption, you will do the tests. What's the least amount of work we need to do to learn the next most important thing? You'll be brainstorming the types of experiments you can run to learn whether your riskiest assumption is true or false. So you get a high level picture here, Dinesh?
Yeah, it's a very clear. I was studying about that business model. That same model I'm looking here. That is UX canvas. So the
Okay.
some similarities are there in terms of numbering and the blocks. So these are very helpful if we will categorize everything in their box in their own boxes. We'll find out the solution what we need to build exactly.
Sure. Right, absolutely. So this is one example of using the LeanUX canvas. Okay. So in this example, this is for a fashion idea. Okay. Image consulting value add. So for image consulting, right? So this is the one solution, what is there. So what is the business problem we have identified is that women does not know what style of garments fit their body structure, where and how to get them. You get the problem? So women actually, right, they don't know what type of garments will fit them right, okay, and fit their body structure particularly, and where and how to purchase or get that particular garment. So that is the business problem we identified, right?
Yeah.
Now, like we said, what we're going to do is that we are going to go in sequence. So one, next one is 2. So here, now what we have to do is that, what is the business outcome? Change in customer behavior is needed. Okay. So what change in customer behavior will indicate you have solved a real problem in a way that adds value to your customers. Okay. So here, what is the business outcome we're expecting is that customer believing that they know what is the correct style they should be wearing. So here the problem is that they don't know what to wear, right? So business outcome should be, after using the product, they should be, outcome what we're expecting is the customer now should believe that they know what is the correct style they should be wearing, right? And if other indirect way of knowing the business outcome is that recommend them to others. If they recommend them to others, what they then, it indirectly, if they know that they believe we have solved the problem, they are confident now, this will also help others as well, right? And keep coming to the portal to try the custom recommendations for various garments and occasions on regular basis. They keep coming and trying to get suggestions and to understand what will be the right garment. Then what is that we have kind of solved the problem and the business outcome. That we have changed the customer behavior. Now instead of not knowing what to wear, now she knows what to wear, and also keep and getting recommendations as well what she should be wearing as well. And we said where to, how to get them as well. So in case they come here to get it stitched through us, or buy the garments from our partners, then the business outcome is met. Wear garments you are comfortable and appropriate. Do not follow trends or others blindly. So these are the business outcome which will, which is expected out of the customers, so that we will know that we have solved the real problem what they are facing. Are you with me?
Yeah, yeah.
So, and once you've identified these business outcomes expected, we move on to the users and customers. So users and customers. So who are the users if you have identified, right? Developing persona is something which we will cover briefly as well. So here, assuming you've identified these personas, urban working women, aged a group of 40 to 55, and urban working women of 25 to 40, right? So if this is what is your persona, then you have to, you have to see whether this solutions are fitting which for each of these personas, whether you have the right solutions. And then you have the user benefits. So what will be the user benefit? So what are the goals your users are trying to achieve? What is the motivate them to seek out your solution? So what is the goals of the users? The goals of users is that become confident on selecting the garment style that will fit them. Right? They should feel confident. The user benefit is that they will benefit from feeling they are wearing the right garment. Feel good about wearing the right style and fitting garment. So they know actually this is the right thing. Actually, I'm looking good. I'm wearing the perfect garment. Get personalized attention solution from image expert whenever needed. This is the benefit for them actually. So assuming suddenly there is a party coming up, a wedding coming up, and based on the clothes and dresses available to what they need to purchase, they get some experts guiding them. So that is the other user benefit. That's what they expect actually. The goals to get some guidance. When today people will be asking brothers, sisters, or mom, somebody is what they ask in case if they want to know what is the right garment to wear. So now here you can get an expert guiding them. And other things, once knowing what they want, able to connect to right vendors to get stitched. So once I identify what is the right garment, now I should be able to go and get it as well, from the stores or where to get it stitched. So that guidance also you get that benefit they'll be looking for. Affordable image consult. So these are the user benefits. Okay, what are the goals your users are trying to achieve? So this is the guiding thing what you need to follow up actually. What are the goals users are trying to achieve? What is motivating them to seek out your solution? Could be a do a better job or get a better promotion. Those are examples applying that. So now these are the user benefits. What user will be getting. They'll be looking for. What are the solution ideas? Now, based on these three things, you have to list down the features what you're going to develop to help them to achieve their goals, right? So in this case, it says quickly understand what types of styles that will fit them. List products, features, or enhancement ideas that will help your target audience achieve the benefits they are seeking. So what they're seeking, they should be able to quickly understand what types of styles that will fit them. Okay, that is the one feature which we need to have, which will help them to identify quickly. Know specifically what styles will fit well for them based on the garment and occasion and chosen. So based on the garment type and then the occasion, they should know which they need to, which style will fit them. And you list down a list of such ideas and features, what will be the solution. So once you've identified these things, now what you have to do is that you have to develop the hypothesis. The hypothesis, what we say is that combine the assumption 2, 3, 4, and 5. 2, 3, 4, and 5. So let's see one example of a hypothesis. We believe that working women, okay, so here we're starting with 2. 2 is this, right? So we believe, okay, like it should start with we believe that. We believe that it's just simple sentence we construct. We believe that business outcome. What is the outcome? Customers believing that they know what is the correct style they should be wearing. We believe that your customers, who are the customers? You can go specific to one persona, right? So either it could be working women this age or this age. So here, generally, if it is applies for both, then you can say working women will become personal style literate, right? So believe that what is the correct style. So she will become personal style literate if the customer can, okay, choose. Okay, we have combined 2 and 3 now, and then you have to get to 4. 4 is confident on selecting the garment style that will fit. So if the customer can choose the right style for themselves, is what is the benefit. Okay, with the help of style Q wizard. So if this is something, a wizard kind of a tool you're going to have, right, with the help of style Q wizard. So this is the hypothesis. We believe that working women will become personal style literate, if the customer can choose the right style. So this is the business benefit for themselves with the help of Style Q Wizard. So if this is the wizard tool we are going to develop for quickly understanding what types of styles that will fit them. So this is what is the hypothesis, right? Get me how it goes, how the hypothesis is getting developed.
Yeah, yeah.
So similarly, for each of these features, you will write a hypothesis. So if there's 1 dozen solution is there, means you will 1 dozen hypotheses or assumptions you would have listed down. So once you have listed down, what you would do is that you would go to the, okay, this 7th point. What it says is that what's the most important thing we need to learn first. So out of the 1 dozen things, what you have hypotheses, now you have to see what is the one thing or a few things. Okay, for each hypothesis, identify the riskiest assumptions. This is the assumption that will cause the entire idea to fail if it's wrong. Right? So you need to list down those list of which are the ones the riskiest assumption. Once you've identified them, now what you do is that you have to come up with the tests for each of those riskiest assumption. So what's the least amount of work we need to do to learn the next most important thing, which is in this case, if this is the risk is there, we want to see whether really what our assumptions is true or not. Brainstorm the types of experiments you can run to learn whether your riskiest assumption is true or false. That's what you need to check, right? You get the
Yeah,
point? Yeah.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
so now any feature what you're going to build, for example, if you start building this, right, a tool, if you're going to develop for somebody to enter certain specific data, and based on that, if you say this is what is the right style that has to show up for this end user, well, the people will be using that. Is it going to be beneficial? Instead of building the entire product, now you need to conduct experiments to see whether is it benefiting them or not. So how do you go about it? So to build a tool, you need to consult, bring in specific experts, and then you need to have a designer, and then you will be developing products, and you need to finally you have to launch it, right? But once you directly go and then develop it and launch it, we don't know if it is going to be used or whether it is people are finding it useful or not. Instead, you can conduct smallest test. What kind of test you will do, Dinesh?
So yeah, test means we have to go for user test. User test means we have to understand their problem, and based on their problem, we have to try uh, to build a feature for them so that it will be easy for use.
Yeah. So in this case, right? So we have already kind of worked on the identified the business problem, okay, and we have identified what the business outcome it should give, right? And we have
Yeah.
identified the customer segment and user benefits also, what how the user will benefit. Now all you have to do is that this tool you're going to build, the tool you're going to build, one is you can build and automate everything and then put a code behind it and you can launch it in the market. But
Hmm.
instead what you can do now is that, okay, you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
experiment, small experiment. What you can do is that you can go talk to the customers, okay, and you bring in the expert, okay, and ask this question, have a one-on-one session, understand what is that need, okay, what kind of body structure they have, you measure, take measurements, and they say find out for office going person, okay, what will fit them and based on the height, and then what is the preferences, what kind of garments they have, you will be able to create a custom style what will be appropriate from them for them, right?
Hmm.
So you can
So
do,
one question, sir. So how normally we do user testing? I mean, suppose we have to go to outside for the to test users, and so where we need to go? Some is there some uh, uh, testing you some users provide for testing any companies, or any randomly anywhere can go?
yeah.
So what is the best way to do that?
See, the startups, if you're going to do, right? For example, in this case, you can talk to the customers, in tailoring shop, right? And you can get the customers right there, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
can talk to them and then get some input, and you can tell them we are going to do a free image consulting exercise for you.
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, that is what applicable. Similarly, even in bigger companies or existing products, you may have your existing customer base where you can take their help. And of course, nothing comes free. Ideally, it is good thing if you are able to give them a 500 rupees or a $10, $20 coupon. So that they'll be motivated to come spend some time with you and then do this testings. And of course, there are some agencies which helps in bringing the customers as well for usability testing and all. And
Mm-hmm.
also there is remote testing also is there where you won't know the actual end users, but if you give them the kind of a demographics whom you are looking for, they'll
Mm-hmm.
be able to from there. They may be sending mailers to their big database. From there, people can come do an online testing aspect. So it all depends upon the whom you are going to test, and whether if it is a startup ecosystem or if it is a enterprise and where they want to test with the existing user or the new user, prospective users. So you need to offer them some freebie and help them to, because they're spending their valuable time. So you may have to give some gifts and stuff to spend time for you to test your product, right?
Right, right.
Yeah. And that is one example, right? In fact, right, one another example which I want to give you, which I came to know through another friend of mine, whose friend is actually was in the US. Actually, he has this big gifting company, or rather personalized gifting company, right? So when he started it, it's a $1 billion company now. When he started this idea, when he had an idea that, right, whenever if I go to gift something to somebody, okay, I may buy a mug, or whether it could be a clock, or it could be a some dining set, something. If you're going to give them, it look very generic. It's not personalized. So what he thought is that if I can give them a personalized gifting solution, right? If I give them a personalized gift, that will give a lot more impact, and people will remember me, and they will also feel good about it.
Mm-hmm.
So for which what he thought is that, okay, if at the same time, if it is going to be personalized it typically is very expensive, right? You need to print a 10 quantity or 100 quantity to have your name or your photograph on your t-shirt or something like that. So it's becoming expensive. So most people don't go for personalized gifts, right? If it's particularly one or two, if you want to purchase it. So
Mm-hmm.
he wanted to come up with a what do you call optimal solution or optimal product where user can even print one personalized a gift and then send it to somebody.
Right.
So he wanted to launch this service, but before he went ahead and then establishing everything and then the portal and manufacturing setup, what he wanted to do is that he wanted to experiment. He wanted to experiment in the market and test his hypotheses, whether this is something which people are interested in and whether people are willing to buy and pay slightly extra than the rest of the, not a huge amount, at least a little bit more than a regular gift. So what he did is that, okay, I mean, he had a friend in another IT company in Bay Area, and so all he did is that said, right, I'm kind of will come up with this idea. I want to just test it with employees of your company. So all I want is that I want to share this link, through your friends in through personal messaging or whatever. If you can share them, they can go to this URL, okay, and I think in that company there are about 1,000 or 2,000 people working in the company. And if you want any gift, personalized gift means you have to click this link, and you can purchase it, and a customized gift you can get it in a couple of days. So when people clicked on that, right, rather in fact, he said instead of even creating a website, he didn't even create a website. All what he did is that he had a prototype in his laptop. So he put a poster in that company building saying, if you want to send a personalized gift, 5 to 6 will be available outside your office in this park. So when people came out of the building, okay, when he put up a poster and then he waited there, people came and then said, yeah, I want to gift, to my cousin's birthday next week. I wanted to get a mug printed with this photograph, and I wanted this color mug and this many quantity, or 1 or 2 quantity as well. So what he had is that he had a laptop, and where he shared, now these are the different gifting options what you have. And this is where your photograph will come. And then once they gave that information, they mailed him the details about the person, and he said, you'll get it in 2 days. And did he have a printing unit? No. Did he have a website? No. So once he got this, order, what he did is that he in turn sent this to some other printing house, which is typically just a custom product, customized gifting thing. They would have charged slightly higher. That's beyond the point. What I'm saying is that he would have tested this, and you would have kept some amount for what do you call for the postal and stuff, which would be much cheaper than if you had gone outside and then directly ordered a custom product. But what he was testing is that to see whether people are interested, whether people will be ordering this way or not, and how many people. So he got a quite number of orders that day. And next day he went, and then next day also he kept getting. 1 week he was doing this, okay, without a system. So all he had is a laptop. That's all what he had. So he had tested that one particular model, and he tested that hypothesis to see whether that business model is working, whether is it solving a problem, whether is the outcome what is expected, is it coming out of it, is the user benefiting it. And then once he found that
So one question, sir. Suppose some business model we want to build, and that business model is already running in the market. So should we test for that business model as well? Suppose I want to start that same business model. So should I do the same thing, or just to understand what is the current problem they are facing and what is the solution we are going to put there?
Yeah, see, Amazon, before it came to India, okay, there were other stores also were there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So still Amazon came, and it was able to solve the same problem, or it would have done enough research to see in the Indian market what works, and they would have adopted the US model over here, and they would have tweaked certain things to make it work here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So every business will work Okay, you build an existing product and then you think, okay, you can build a similar product. It may work, it may not work. But what you do is that, okay, how you tweak your ideas for the existing customer, what problem you're trying to solve. Are you trying to solve the better way than what other people are solving? You know, today, maybe some of the e-commerce company are focusing only on the primary cities.
Mm-hmm.
Secondary cities, if they want to order, they don't know whether, you know, how to go about it. So for them, they may have technology challenge, they may have a device challenge, they may have internet challenge. So if same thing, if you're going to take it to the, you know, tier 3 or tier 3 to cities and to the villages, you may come up with a different model which may work. But that how we are going to, you know, what model works, that is something you won't be able to do it on your assumptions. If you have assumptions, you have to develop a hypothesis and you experiment that to see what is the best, you know, solution which you are able to bring in, and so that you will have an edge over others because you're solving that particular problem what the, you know, user is facing, right? And you can get that to see, like developing hypothesis and then testing it, and then you want to see whether you want to scale it up or not. So you need to nail that a problem and solve it with one particular solution, and if you think this works, then you can scale it. Get me what I'm saying?
Got it. Yeah, thank you.
So this is another example similar to, you know, the other one what we shared. Is another case study. And the other example, what I was saying, that gifting option, right? Gifting company. So then what he did is that when he kept getting on, you know, 100 or 10 to 20 or 30 to 40 as it is uh, uh, orders kept on in a regular basis, then what happened is that after a week or so, or a couple of weeks, you know, he found this working model, and then he developed it into a, you know, a website, and then further he added additional features, because as he is not was in a position to manage it by himself everything, then slowly he scaled it to that local area and then to that city and more, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it works. Just a second, huh? I'm just stopping a video for a couple of minutes, huh? Just one thing to take care.
Sure, sure.
I'm back, Dinesh. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
So similarly, for every product what we develop or every service what we have, we need to do those hypotheses, because that is the best way to go about it without wastages and inventories or, you know, risks, right? So this example is another example, so that, you know, you will be able to connect with this and probably see how you can apply it. This is CVS. I don't know whether you heard about CVS. It is like uh, you know, pharmacies, right? Uh, when you have Reliance store and all, right? So, but the thing is that in US and all, CVS pharmacies are there, which is as big as Reliance store, or rather bigger than the Reliance Fresh what we have, where you will have, basically it's a pharmacy. Apart from pharmaceutical products on the shelf, they have all other, you know, consumer products also would be there typically, you know, or utility products would be there, from even snacks to biscuits to all other things also typically you can find in CVS. And also as a when typically a pharmacy has two kinds of products. One is prescribed, and then over the shelf products also, right? And uh, also in the pharmacy section also there will be for the prescribed products, you can order it, or you can regularly, you can go and collect your doctor's prescribed tablets as well from these pharmacies. And these pharmacies also now, what they wanted to do is that they've introduced the doctor as well, where doctor will be available within the pharmacy also, so that you will be able to go for consultation. When they introduced this business, or the service, they wanted to optimize it. So there are multiple CVS pharmacies are there in every area, uh, and the patients nearby each of those in area nearest CVS, they want to go and then get consulted, get consulted, get consultants. So this is the challenges what they found, right? So they found patients complaining, saying, patient is unable to locate a CVS medical practitioner who's immediately available. So when they go without an appointment, what happens is that there's a long queue, okay, and since there is no online way of booking these things, they have to wait for a long period. But at the same time, in some location, okay, medical practitioners are free, but without enough patients. So in one side, actually, patients not able to find the doctor or have the doctor when they need. On the other side of it, medical practitioner doesn't have patients. They're sitting idle. So how do you solve this? So going by the steps, right? So second one is, what is the business outcome we are looking for? So patient booking doctor appointment over the app. That is the so now if the app is there, people will be able to book an appointment using the app. So better patient care is what is that comes out, so that patient is not made to wait, and as and when needed, immediately they are able to get attended. And increase consulting time of the medical practitioner, because in a day, if they're going to be 50% of the time, if they're going to be idle, then there is time wasted of these medical professionals as well. So those are the outcomes that is required, right? And identifying who are the users and customers. Okay, they identify two sets of personas. So first persona is that the elderly, retired persons, elderly people. Other one is, so elderly people. The uniqueness is that they will be free the entire day, and they won't be working as such, right? So then you have the working professionals. This is Mary Smith, 35. She's an executive in an ad agency. So these are the two different personas identified who would be using the CVS pharmacy. And coming to what are the user benefits? What will be the user benefit? And what goals we are trying to help the users achieve? Easy to book doctor without wait time. So they have to easily able to go to the doctor, and without being having to wait. And regular in taking medicines and doctor appointments. So they should be, wherever possible, they should be able to get an appointment in the earlier stage itself, by booking an appointment earlier, so that there's predictability, and they themselves need not wait, and they'll be able to get a doctor's attention as soon as required on the right time. Easy way to order medicine, these are the benefits, and receiving doctor consultation conveniently from his home. Health records history helps in getting additional insurance benefits. Those are the user benefits that those are identified, which the user wants to achieve. Now, what are the solution ideas, right? What will be the features or products that will be need to be developed to the user achieve their goal? Is that one is list of CVS doctors by availability and distance from the patient location. So you will be able to know which doctors are available, and distance from patient location. So how far, right, is this CVS location or the pharmacy or doctor's location, so that they can find out. So accordingly, they can decide whether if I'm going in the afternoon, whether which doctor will be available. They'll be able to find out. And taking a medicine a reminder would be useful for them. So that could be one feature. And doctor appointment reminder, if they have get a reminder, you have in advance, so they can just in case they missed out, someone will be reminding them, and as well as they'll be able to reach on time, so there won't be any overlap with for the other patients. Order medicine online and prescription tracking, and video conferencing tool for online consulting whenever needed. These are the list of features they have identified which will solve the user benefits. So if you have a list of things, there could be umpteen, even a 2 dozen different solutions and features you may list it. If you start developing everything, we don't know really everything is going to solve the problem, is going to be useful or not. So what you do is that you develop the hypotheses. So the first hypothesis is that we believe that, so you have to go with 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 is okay. We believe that. What do you believe? Patient booking appointment over the app will be achieved if John Smith, okay, attains reduction in wait time, right? Reduction in wait time with access to list of doctors availability. So you have written the hypothesis combining, okay, the business outcome and the customer, specific customer and user benefits and the feature what you've listed. So you will create each of these feature, you'll create one hypothesis and then you will test it. Excuse me. So what would you, what test you would do here, Dinesh? So instead of developing the
Yeah.
product, so you can test these hypotheses. The one test what you would do, you can come up with.
So test that first that
Yeah.
MVP will launch, and then through MVP will test about the patients, how patients are going to register and
Mm.
taking appointment with doctor, and how uh, really they are getting appointment on time. Is it rescheduling or canceling the appointments? So some other scenarios are there. So the through MVP we'll understand from the user side, I mean the patient side, they are really getting the benefit or not. So those are the things. And doctor side, really they are uh, uh, they are getting serving to the patients, or they are still ideal, or how and that overview that how products, that application distributing that all patient to all doctors. So suppose who some doctors are idle, sitting idle, and some patients you said like only one side they are going, but other side doctors are sitting idle. So how application distributing patients to all doctors. So if everything is working fine with MVP, means this is a good product. So we can build and will launch.
Okay. So see, when we see MVP, right, we're not saying no, you need to develop the MVP, the product. What we're talking about MVP, okay, can be a simple lo-fi, okay. It could be a simple idea itself. So the idea is the MVP product is not something a software code. It need not be a software code. It could be just a prototype. It could be just a simple way to experiment to see whether this idea works or not. So in this case, how do you arrive on that? And we're not looking into end-to-end of MVP. We are looking at just solving this one hypothesis. We are going to test just this one hypothesis first. Or how do you arrive on which one to test? Again, like it says, each hypothesis identify the riskiest assumption. This is the assumption that will cause the entire idea to fail if it's wrong. So we have to look for the outcome. So what we are saying is that we have to see which is the riskiest among these. And again, we have to see what was that KPI we're looking at. What is a key performance indicator which will show that this is working to solve the problem. So for example, we said patient actually assuming, you keep taking feedback. Okay, patient here says the problem is that patients are unable to locate a serious medical practitioner who's immediately available. So if you have taken a survey, how many people are finding it, able to reach the doctor on time? Okay, and how many people are not able to reach on time? If you're able to do a survey, right, then you would know what percentage are able to able to reach, not able to reach. So then you would know, okay, we want to change this thing, and then make sure if 50% of people are not able to locate the doctor who's free, and if we are able to make it to 80%, if you are able to identify, then we know we have changed the scale from 50% to 80% of the people are able to reach the doctor on time. And similarly, if you are able to increase the medical practitioner's time, now only 50% on average people are getting patients. Now, if we are able to increase it, then we will say, okay, it's a successful, that we have changed that outcome. But this is the KPI, so we have to move it, or we have to see an increase in that. If that is what is the KPI we are trying to achieve as an outcome, then if you are going to test this patient booking appointment over the app, so if doing this experiment, what experiment you will do, it could be done in many ways. Now you brainstorm with the team. It could be a prototype. It could be a simple phone call, right? What we mean by phone call is that, for example, you can tell them if you want to book an appointment, all you have to do is that call this number. On calling this number, okay, all you have to do is at what time you want an appointment. So if I say 5 to 6, right? 5 to 6, then you may, after that, followed by that, you can check manually which doctors are available that time, okay, and you can send a SMS to them saying, this is the 2 kilometer from you, so this doctor is available from 5 to 6, right? And while doing that, see whether people are responding and then using those time slots, and whether the medical practitioner's time is increasing and the patient is quickly able to reach the doctor or what. That is the experiment, right?
Right.
So if you are seen in that 1 week, and if you've tested end of the week, whether you moved the number of hours doctor is able to get patients, and if you're able to see whether you're change that this ratio of number of patients able to reach the doctor on time. You get what I'm saying? That could be smallest experiment you'll do. So once if you've done it, then you see if you want to put a system in place to make it more robust or what. Similarly, you will test the next solution, next feature and stuff. That way, you are actually you're not spent a lot of time. You have reduced the inventory, you have reduced the waste and the risk aspect, right?
Yeah.
Get me what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's how you will approach developing the LeanUX canvas, and so that from idea to validating it before you develop any product, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And one of the key things actually to experiments, for example, you can brainstorm this, you can outcomes, you can brainstorm, and you can get use of. How do you identify these outcomes and benefits? Okay, is through developing and identifying the right target segment. So you asked last time actually, how do I go about recruiting for user study? So user study is different from usability study that you know. Usability study is that to test the system to see whether it is as per what the user is expecting it to be. That is usability study. User study or user research is that understanding what the users needs and what is the psychographic, what is the demographic they're coming from, so that you would know what are the pain points they are facing, so that you can solve the problem, right?
Right.
So we will have one small exercise which we are going to develop to identifying and learning and creating the personas. Okay. So this is there is a different ways people develop persona. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
typical persona where you need to interview about 10 to 15 people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you see what are the common characteristics what they have in terms of the need and behavior, demographic and interests. Okay, and then see what kind of clustering you can do based on this, their needs, and say, okay, these people need this kind of products and services because they come from this kind of a background, and this kind of people need something else. That's how you typically create persona.
Mm-hmm.
But what we are going to learn now is actually a lean way of developing persona. This is again, like I said, Jeff Gothelf is the one who brought this kind of a lean UX persona development, which is much quicker and easier, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and than the regular personas. If you have time, money, and resource, develop ideal persona, and if it calls for for a complex project that might be needed. But
Mm-hmm.
it is better to do a lean UX persona than not doing it at all. Okay, so this helps in a much a quicker way to developing a persona. And this is a team activity. This is not a one-person activity sitting on his alone and then trying to develop it. It is a team activity. Okay, so this one what you see, okay, is a example of a persona development. So here, if you see, this one is developed for a product which is an online conference calling and real-time media sharing app. Okay,
Yeah.
so what is online conference calling and real-time media sharing app? It is as same as what we are using. It could be Zoom, or it could be a Google app, or it could be
Skype
Skype,
or
anything, right? So that
yeah.
is the product what they have developed. Now they are identifying to see who will be their customers, right? So here what we do is that, like we said, right? So as bottom it shows here, so you diverge and identify who all could be your prospective users, and then later you will converge. Okay. So in this examples you see, okay, they say who all will be using online conference calling service. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It could be if I ask you to give me a list of people who will be using, somebody will say executives of the company, work teams will be using it, clients and customers, salespeople, customer support, families, long distance lovers, recruiters, all these kinds of people can be using online conference, right? So like I said, this should be a team exercise. Suppose in your development team, product or service development team, there could be developers, there'll be UI designers, there'll be business folks, there could be testers, right? So
Mm-hmm.
everybody coming together can develop this exercise. So it shouldn't be done by the individual, because you won't get diverse set of inputs.
Mm-hmm.
So you typically go with a team. And once, assuming somebody will say executive, somebody will say clients and salespeople. So once you have the list of people here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now what you do is that you have a diverse set of personas. Now the thing is that you need to converge it. You're not going to develop personas for a half a dozen people or 1 dozen people. Typically, persona you do to 2 to 3 kind of personas is what you develop, right? So representative users, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now, after developing this first list, now coming to the B, now we will ask the individuals in the teams to vote for 2 personas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and while they are voting, okay, we will put a line next to it to show for which one they have voted for, which personas.
Mm-hmm.
And along with voting, they also need to explain why they voted for that persona and why not rest of them. So here in this case, if I am the one who voted for customer support and families, right? I need to say, okay, I'm voting for customer support and families, and why I'm not, voting for salespeople or somebody's reason is that salespeople, customer support, all these people are, are working professionals. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They pretty much have a same need. So I think customer support may need, in fact, additional features also than the rest of the working folks. So if customer supports feature and needs are covered, then even other working professionals needs will be covered within this. So this is customer support one. Families is something more, maybe of a diverse experience. Some of them could be, novice users, some of them could be experienced users. So we need to cater to family members who are, children. It could be elderly people who need a glass to, to read and go through. So I would say they may need a different set of requirement and persona, because we need to address their needs as well. So I'm customer support and families are two distinct personas. But when you say you may support, okay, work teams and salespeople, you may vote, or you may say customer support and salespeople, you will vote for two people, right? So you need to vote and also explain why you think they are will be two unique personas. And once entire team has voted, then you will kind of highlight and say whichever gets a most vote, take those two personas and convert, saying, okay, we are going to develop personas for this and this. Did you get it? What I'm saying?
Yeah, clearly.
So that's how, instead of developing to everybody, now you know these two unique personas, they have distinct needs. So if we address their needs, it's kind of addressing rest of the folks as well, right?
Okay.
So you kind of identify the personas. Now, okay, you have identified the personas. Now you're going to expand the persona. Okay. So what we mean by expand the persona is that now that you've identified the shortlisted two personas, customer care reps, now you're going to detail out these personas and what kind of a background they come from, and what kind of a interest they have, and what are their needs. You will identify, and based on the needs, what features would be required to develop to be incorporated in the product. That's what you're going to identify. Right? Do you get me?
Yeah.
Okay. So you will go 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, you cover a name and sketch, and male or female. You identify an age group representative persona. Then you get into psychographic and demographic profile. So what all would be there in demographic and psychographic profile is these are the list of things what you try to capture, right?
Okay.
So you would identify gender, age, status, where are they based out of, whether it's a city or or whether urban village. You will have an idea about what background they are, what is the education qualification, what is the household income, job title, nature of job. This is what you'll capture. So now, if we are going to capture this, let's start. Detailing this out now. Okay. So now, if you're going to create this demographic and psychographic profile, so assuming we have already said this is the person Jane, okay, and she's a customer service executive. She's 45 years old. Okay. Now we are going to capture the demographic details. So what all we need to have? So her age we captured. She married. She has, and then she may have children, right? Children studying in college, probably, right? And what will be the household income? So let's take, assuming she's in Mumbai, okay? Mumbai, and what will be her Mumbai, and what will be her household income? Household income is combined income of the family, okay?
Okay.
So that makes a lot of difference. A single person salary to double means then their buying capacity and the lifestyle itself will be more different. So what will be her household income?
2 lakh per month, something we can assume.
2 lakh per month as a household income. So we can say around, maybe roughly we can say 20 lakh per year.
Yeah.
Okay. And what will job title is customer service rep, and nature of job responsibilities. She's a customer care representative, right?
Yeah, customer support,
Customer support, right? So she'll be assuming she's working for some product company.
any time zone, I think.
Yeah,
That
yeah. Time zone could be varying, but assuming she's working primarily for Indian customers, in that
should be
case,
done.
probably she's working for Dell, probably.
Right.
In that case, she'll be servicing Dell
Uh,
product,
yeah, 10
customer
to
care.
10, 10 to 6 or 7
Yeah,
or 9 to 6, like that.
10 to 6 working hours, and her customers, across India, right?
Yeah.
Across India. Okay. So she may need to have understand. I mean, have multiple languages. She may have to know, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Multiple. At the same time, since multiple is not of this thing, so uh, 2 to 3 languages, including
Mm.
Hindi, would be useful, right?
Mm.
Languages, and the people who are also, right. I mean, the people, the customers, even they will have diverse set of audience will be there, right? Because some of them will be novice, and some of them will be experts, right?
Yeah.
And nature of job is 10 to 6 working hours. It will be a desktop, right? Desktop job, typically,
Mm-hmm.
right? Desktop job. And we are trying to know the nature of job responsibilities, addressing, and she may have to, or she may be wearing specs, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Spectacles. And then we're talking about personal goals. What could be a personal goal? Personal goal is could be spend more time with family, could be a personal goal. Okay. And career goal is actually could be becoming a team lead or becoming a manager, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what kind of devices she'll be using. So device, she'll be using a desktop, right? Desktop
Right.
PC at office,
Mm-hmm.
and she may have access to a smartphone, smartphone for personal use. Tab at home, maybe.
Mm.
And yeah, this is additional information for us to know, so that we know what kind of devices they work from, so that the product what we develop is something is the right products we develop the products for. so that we know what is the browser speed typically. Whether it's home means it will be not so as fast as at the office. So since it's going to be office purpose, so she can it can support higher bandwidth.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, when you're doing the other persona, right, family, so that point in time, what are the constraints available as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these are demographic information which we captured. Then you need to see what are the psychographic information as well, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what is the one thing she must be most interested in? Okay, so probably like listening to music. And activity outside of the time you spend sleeping, working, how do you spend most of your time? Or any hobbies if it is there, right? So what could be the hobby, learning yoga or going to gym or running, other activity what she does probably, and what is the opinion she has, right? Any specific interest she has. So this, when it comes to opinion,
Mm-hmm.
here we're talking about specific to the product what we're developing. Okay, so what is the opinion purchasing ready-made garment was a custom stitched garment? So this is a specific to a fashion related. So here it's specific to this one. What will be their ideal opinion? What they have is what we need to capture. Okay, and it could be like what could be the specific opinion by choosing the.
So she prefer to wear at this age, I think she prefer to wear sari or
Yeah,
suit,
sorry,
something.
I'm sorry to interrupt. So here, this example, what is given here is to do with fashion. So in our product, we have to identify the opinions with respect to our product, which is online conferencing tool.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I think I know that's it's giving a different example. So you have to get something related to our product. So what will be the.
Yeah. So easy to share uh, files, videos, and like sharing our presenting screens,
Okay.
and yeah, and security reason I want to suppose I want to share, so I can share with some credential or code to access call. So security should be there, and yeah, that smooth voice clearance should be there. So that may expect.
Okay. So here, one thing is that we are not asking; we are identifying the product features. So we are trying to see what will be her need, is what we are saying. What will be a general idea about these what do you call these online conferencing tools currently? What she has been seen. So
Mhm.
what will she general thought what she has about these online conferencing tools? So it could be like, right, where your connectivity drops off, right?
Mhm.
Connectivity dropping. So if the user has a low connectivity, right,
Yeah,
it should unable to continue through the video call, right?
right,
So
right.
those are the problems and opinions what she has, challenges what she has. So that once you identify these, you can see what her needs is. Accordingly, we can build a feature for that. Okay.
Mhm.
And unreliable, you know, um, video resolution. So, so you list down what are the various. So, like I said, this is again not a single person who's going to put this develop this person. It's a team exercise, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So now, once you have identified the list of demographic and psychographic, now you need to see what are the needs of the persona is there, right? Like what now that you know what her requirement is, or what
Mhm.
exactly is demographic and psychographic. So you need to list down what will be the what her needs. So here, this is where you will list the needs based on what you understood from her. So you need to put yourself in the user's shoes and come up with her needs. What could it be?
So need, as I told before, like similar
Yeah,
to that.
yeah.
So that easy connectivity
Easy connectivity. Okay.
and uh,
Share screen, right?
share share screen
Uh-huh. Okay.
and
Screen.
security code before joining, security code or something, and a recording also should be there so that I can record. And yeah, those features mainly need chatting. I can see participants and some features like question and answer. Suppose if we will chat, so suppose someone uh, asks some question, but in chat complete chat uh, window, that question will go up, and that can miss, so not unable to read that question. So the one separate question and answer section should be there in conference uh, product, so that I can take those question and after call can clear that. So one other feature should be there. So like those features I need
Okay.
as per persona
Okay.
should be there.
Okay. So you're saying if they have specific questions, see, one is two things is there. One is as and when they ask questions, I can clarify, and
Mm.
sometimes they may ask actually how do I install and reinstall software. So where they can also should be able to point it to specific FAQs available or help available, right?
Right.
Yeah, is to access help and share the links with the customer. So one thing we need to differentiate is that what we are listing here is not features, but the needs. So from the needs, we will arrive on the features. Sometime, of course, directly you may land up with the feature while identifying the needs itself. But
Mhm.
typically, we are identifying the needs over here, and post that, from there you will arrive on the features as well.
So in terms of need, so only in a webinar, so conference call product, suppose we need only as per need. If you say that only need to just connect with person, and voice should be there, video calling should be there, and just sharing if it is possible. Uh, so I don't need that. So
You don't
that
need that. You're
that
right.
yeah, that may be the case. So only the primary need is to voice and video.
Yeah. Voice and
Video.
so, but video is even you said voice only might be needed, not even video, right? Voice and screen share is all is needed. No need
Yes.
for video also, right?
Yeah.
So in this case, you don't even need the thing. So voice share and screen share and and capture customer issues, right? So maybe the voice has to capture it, and as well as you should be in a position to share it back. How is that? I mean, are they going to call up? We are saying this is through a conference call, right? Conference call video sharing is what we are talking about. So customer care person, when they have, it all depends upon product to product, probably, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if it is going to be a Dell customer care person, so she may need screen capture or screen takeover, those things might be needed, but not
Yeah.
necessarily she has to see the customer as such.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that could be the need in this case actually. So from here you will arrive on the features. For
Mm-hmm.
example, it could be a screen takeover and can be a feature, right?
Mm-hmm.
Screen takeover. So the will language translation is required?
Yeah, that in features should be there. Language translation also. Um, yeah, those things.
And also, if you see,
Uh,
uh, a need is the aspect from the end user perspective, auto direct to the customer rep based on the language preference, right?
yeah, that also need.
That also might be needed so that they will the customer knows only Tamil. Then in that case, you need to send it to somebody who understands Tamil also probably, right? Or if it is only knows English, then you need to make sure customer care only knows English aspect, right? So that it will be easy for them to communicate. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Screen takeover and what else will be needed? So from the needs, some of the things directly can be taken into features aspect. So secure environment, right?
Yeah. So we can say need.
Hello.
Yeah. Sorry, I was in mute.
Yeah.
So need means it's some necessary points, right?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. What do they need? So for that need to fulfill, what features is needed? Yeah.
Yeah. And features means extra for easiness.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for example, if it is low bandwidth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So automatically switching from video to audio, right? So that
Mm-hmm.
they can reduce the bandwidth. So you
Yeah.
can operate on the low bandwidth itself.
But in that case, suppose if you automatically will switch from video to audio, that will be problem for users to understand what happened.
Yeah.
Suddenly, what happened? Suppose.
So there it will be more that is well, developing the interaction. There we need to bring in right what do you call it? Contextual information
Yeah,
stating
yeah.
that we switching from video to audio. Yeah, that has to be done. But yeah,
Mm.
but here the feature is that kind of automatically switches. User doesn't get disconnected as such, at least
Right.
it can warn him saying switching to audio due to low bandwidth. It can
Mm.
warn him and then he can switch. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So like that you identify the feature.
Mm.
So since we have two different personas, distinct personas, when you're going to cover for the other persona, then maybe the need for video or more higher resolution or accessible tools. Those things something which will come up when you're going to develop the other persona. So instead of now, how you see how we have developed a simple personas and based on our understanding, and now we know our customers better than not knowing at all, right? Now entire team will know whom we are working for and what are the needs and what are the challenges, and for
Mm.
which these end feature will help them to overcome. So now with these features in hand, then when you go and develop the solution outcome, what is expected, what are the user benefits, and what are the solution ideas, then you'll be able to develop the hypothesis which is more realistic, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So that is how the LeanUX canvas helps in moving from a doubt to more certain output and outcome, right?
Yes. Yes.
So I think that is what how this is the end of the session. But did it make sense?
Yeah, that clarify lot of doubt. So now it's clear, like whatever UX lean canvas you have presented, that is I think new for me, but it's a completely informatic and narrow down that uh, problem, and uh, we can clearly see that what we are going to build. So that is that we need actually. Sometimes what company or team are doing randomly whatever they are thinking, that trying to do that same time, but they are not evaluating that what will be the outcome. So by doing this all uh, process and practices, we can find out the complete outcome, business outcome, and hypothesis, and then we can go to for build the product. So this is a complete better giving the better understanding how to execute the product. So at least if we are not going to outside for user research or user testing or uh, identifying which users is there, but within the team we can discuss how we can build a user persona, business problem solving, solution, and business outcome, user benefit, and users and customers need. Then hypothesis, like whatever you have given the diagram, we can set all elements there in the inside the each block, and then we can find the exact what I need. So
True.
this is completely giving the crystal clear of a path how you have to go.
True.
So I think this was very helpful for me, and so very uh, like helpful session for me as well.
Absolutely. The thing is, right? So this is something which not necessarily for startups, even the bigger companies, right? When they want to bring in a new ideas or new modules or want to test certain things, they can do it before even spending too much time or and launching a full-fledged project itself. So, and one thing I want to tell you is that ideal scenario, we need to create an extensive personas. In this case, while once you develop these personas in-house, these personas, when you take it to the market, right, when you're going to test it with the market, that point in time, you may find, yeah, this is not really the right persona. Maybe, we have identified something else, which we are
Mhm.
learning from the market. So we may want to try one more persona, means you can quickly go back to your drawing board and then do a new one as well, right?
Right.
So you're not lost too much of time in developing or not doing it at all. So you develop that. And also the other thing is that your entire team come together and then identify these personas. So everybody will have idea about what we are working towards and what we are trying to achieve.
Yeah, entire team also can be a persona, and they can give us their own suggestion, on need, and on requirement. So they are also can be have a like a persona, and we can get information, and based on that we can do some research and can build better personas.
Yes. So the entire team is working towards in the right direction. So that's very important, Pranav, right?
Yeah, so the entire team
Yeah.
are on the same track
Yeah.
and going to build up, right.
Yeah.